Do we have any other questions? Yes, sir.
Is marriage like what constitutes as marriage? Is it like an agreement or a ceremony or sex or a license?
Okay. We had a, thank you for asking that. We had a sister from Canada email us and ask us the same thing. What constitutes a marriage? Now, I don't even know if did we ever respond to that? We responded? Okay, you responded. So why you were asking that question? Oh, no, I'm not asking why. I was just saying, while you were asking that question, the Lord had gave me the answer to that. So if you have your Bibles, let's go to the book of Matthew. Let's see. I lost my place. All right, there it is. The 19th chapter of the book of Matthew. If you will, start reading at verse 1.
And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh? Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
Now, so let me say this. In the beginning, when God created male and female, talking about Adam and Eve, he could have created several males and several females and just let them all just mingle together until they decided who they wanted to be with, the way folks do it today. Even after he created Adam, he could have pulled two ribs out of him and said, Look, Adam, I created these two women, you choose one of them, and I'll just let the other one go wherever. He created one woman for Adam. And he brought that, and the first thing he did, what did he do before he pulled Eve out of the side of Adam? What did he do? He put him to sleep. In other words, Adam had nothing to do with that whole process. And a lot of men are walking around looking for their wife, and they're not asleep yet. They got eyes for what they want instead of allowing God to bring them who God has for them. So they're going off of their eyes and their own lust, and they think, God, this is the one for me because she's got this, this, and this. Adam didn't have that choice, did he? And he was stuck with that one. It wasn't no, look, if you ain't acting right, I can go over here, or I can, it's 6 women to 1 man. It wasn't no 6 women to 1 man back then. He was stuck with who God had created. Now, that's the whole point, who God had created for him. So you asked the question, basically what constitutes a marriage? Basically is what you're saying. So let's read verse 6 again.
Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God had joined together, let not man put asunder.
That's what constitutes a marriage. What God has joined together. A lot of folks got a license. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, once you go out there and you say your vows before God, that's you. Y'all together now. But at some point, people have to learn to submit that area to God so that they can stop going around that same circle of, I'm in love, we done had a fight, now I'm not in love. Now I got to heal, and I'm bringing more baggage into the next relationship. When you get, the Lord will let you go around that wheel, He'll let you go around it until you get tired of it. But when you give that over to God, that's when He could bring that person to you. Now, as long as you out there trying to date and trying to make stuff happen, God will be hands off. When my wife and I, when we met, neither one of us had a mind to even get married anymore. As far as dating, we just had both decided that's it. We were tired of going through all of that. It really gets old. And so, finally, when we decided, okay, Lord, that's just whatever, just be focused on what you called me to do. When we both decided that, that's when God brought us together. Now, as long as we were out trying to date this one, trying to date that one, and trying to help God out, it wasn't working. And I'm telling you, there is so much peace when you are with the person that God has for you, because there's just some things you don't have to worry about. I don't ever have to wake up and wonder whether or not my wife loved me. Ever. That's something you got to worry about when you done went all out to try to make that person love you. When my wife and I, when we got together, it was like everything just fit together. It don't mean that everything was where it needed to be, but everything fit together. You see that? It just all fit together. And so there's peace in that. I don't ever have to wake up wondering whether she loves me, if she's going to be here tomorrow, or whatever the case may be. And I tell you something else. When you truly want to be in God's will, but you have not surrendered that area to you, God will sabotage those other relationships for you. He'll do it. Won't nothing work. And when you get tired of getting your heart broke, and hopefully it's before you get to the point where you just feel like all men are dogs or all women is that and this. Because that's where you'll go. That's where you'll just think, ain't no more. How many of you heard that? Ain't no more good man out there. Yeah, there's some good ones out there. You just ain't looking for them. You looking for what you want. You see? And so that's one thing that I don't have to worry about. It's like it just fit the way that it's supposed to. It just fit the way that it's supposed to. And so, but that's what constitutes a marriage, is when God brings people together. Now, He did it with Adam and Eve, and He did it with Isaac and his wife, Rebecca. You see, if we'll surrender that part of our life to God, then God will become Lord over it, and He will bring us the person that we're supposed to have. But that's what constitutes a marriage, is when God joins two people together. Now, there are some folks that's married that's not supposed to be married. It wasn't God's will, I put it that way. But once you get into that, that's where you stay. In other words, that marriage is still holy before the Lord. You can't say, oh, no, the Lord ain't bring us together, so. There's a lot of folks using that lie, using that excuse. You see? And so, but that's what constitutes a marriage, is when God bring you together with the person that you're supposed to be with. Does that answer your question? And let me just take it a step further. There's this law, what is it called? Common law? That's against God all day long. The state may say, well, if you shack up for 5 years and you fornicate, then we'll automatically. But that's not God's way. And to me, that's the craziest thing. You can go live with, I think in the state of Texas, it's 5 years. You just shack up together for 5 years, and then you can't even, you have to go and divorce a person you were never made vows to. That's crazy. So that does not constitute a marriage. That does not constitute a marriage. What constitutes a marriage is that marriage that God have brought together. Those people that God have brought together. Did you have anything? Amen. All right. Do we have any other questions? Yes.
Once the Lord reveals, this is your wife, this is your husband, and both people know, where do you go from there? Like, do you have to say vows or sign something, or you just...
Yeah, because you have to abide by the law of the land. Yeah, you still abide by the law of the land.